The touch, the opening of our union. What transpires if you look within the partnership? My lovely 7-year-old wife, who is also my son's mother, wishes to divorce. I am feeling so overwhelmed with guilt right now, and I have no idea why. She started to change in September. She began to go to bed early and remain up late, was happier, more driven, and expressed her want to shed the baby weight. In 6 months, she informs me she wants to take a vacation to see her friend, who resides in Pennsylvania. It is the South that we are in. Sure, my mind gets to work. I snoop, then I discover that she has been communicating with a gay man who happens to reside in upstate New York via Facebook. She tells a pal that she's fallen hard for this guy, declares her love for him in a public post on a Facebook gaming page. Then she tells me that she wants to travel to NY and see her friend in Pennsylvania. I spy more now. She searches on Google for romantic activities in New York City. She informed me she wanted to visit the Empire State Building as one of the outcomes. Happenstance. Songs about a love that is hidden. Calendar of menstrual cycles. She eventually made up something that made no sense, but she had no explanation for this. I'm in denial, yet I'm beside myself. I ask her who this guy is, Jay, if you will, who is uploading movies to YouTube and sharing them on her Facebook gaming account profile. Videos with titles and remarks like "this is a song for a good time" astonish me. I felt so sick, I wanted to throw up. She informs me that he is gay and has been with his partner for more than 10 years. Moreover, that he is only a friend. I advise her pals not to talk like that to one another. She also needs to respect me enough to not do it since she is married. She gets upset with me for prying. She goes on to recommend an open marriage, considering that she won't have to bear the shame of not meeting my requirements. That is not the reason, and at this time, my bullshit meter is set, so I say no. What's the actual cause? I assure her that I still adore her and that we can resolve her issues together. I'm capable of changing, etc. I refuse to acknowledge it. I ask her directly, is there anything I can do to help? I can accomplish that, but you must let me know if all you desire is to be held by another man. I am unable to change that. She keeps lying and saying no, no. I tell her how much I love her and want this to work, and I pour my heart out to her. Less than an hour after she texts Jay in New York, 2 weeks later, she has some wine and asks me for an open marriage once more. I grudgingly accept, but after thinking I can't manage it, I decline the next day. We argue over stuff she is saying to this guy a couple more times. One major altercation before to our boy's week-long trip to Disney, which she tells him about on her Facebook gaming wall. I'm not sure how I'll manage without you for a week. I also miss you, our conversations, and your attractive appearance. But thinking of you still makes my heart skip a beat. She doesn't even appear to be disturbed when I tell her how painful it is for me to read this. She explains, we're just good friends. Our 7th year anniversary is December 16th. I offer to drive her favorite dinner, which she hasn't had since we first started dating, across town. I tell her that I'd want to have a romantic evening and put the kids to bed early. Okay, she responds. She puts the kids to bed early, then comes out and says, hurry up, I'm tired. She just lies there for a minute as we bond in an emotionless way. She had been against foreplay, kissing, and caressing for a long time. A day later, on our anniversary, I was heading to pick up the dinner when I learned of it. She thought of you, missing you, and texted Jay. Last night, I confronted her about it and told her to pick between me and him. She claims she shouldn't have to make a decision. I inform her that we will need to come up with a solution then. I cannot live like this, thus I want a divorce or separation. She claims she is unable to live with me constantly looking through her belongings. We come to an agreement at the end that we should work out how to divide the kids up. The vehicle, the home I recently acquired for you. June. To be honest, I feel a little relieved because the last 3 months have been the source of all my hurt. Depression, panic episodes, and insomnia. As I looked through everything and saw her lying about everything, I had the worst feeling ever. I simply feel bad now, like I did something wrong. What is wrong with me? She informed me she wanted to sort things out a few weeks later. Her desire is not for a divorce. After speaking with her longtime friend, I was reassured that Jay is happily in a committed relationship and is by no means a threat. She made the same statement to me. She assures me that although she is not in love with who I have become lately, she still loves and is drawn to me. She expressed regret for her words to him, but she wasn't sorry about missing him because he had supported her. Since he has been the only person who has supported her throughout the past 6 months, she claims she will not be stopping their conversations. I will grant her privacy and have faith in her at this moment because I want to fight to keep the family together. I feel like a different person now that I've experienced a brief divorce. I'm not as terrified of getting wounded as I once was. I understand that if I don't put everything I have into making this work for my boys and myself, later on, I'll regret it. I believe it's time for us both to get help. Even so, I believe she is still a post. I'll ask her, and I'll hear her response. I am currently seriously considering splitting up after the holidays. One more night without sleep. I'm crying in the early morning, by myself, because I adore this woman so much. I find it impossible to stop thinking about what she did and how heartless she is in her regrets. She can only be kind to me even though I am giving her everything I have right now. No closeness, no fondness. When I let her know what I need, she makes me feel bad for bringing it up. Like, my wants are the furthest thing from her thoughts at the moment. This is not how I can live. Is it the way one approaches a marriage? Because of the children, I'm not sure how to handle the separation, and at the moment, I don't even want to look at her. Cheers to a prosperous new year. The next day, I'm going to inform her that I want to go out on a date with this guy, or else we're parting ways. We also start marital counseling. I predict another rejection from her, as she has already turned down both of these. I'll be cool, collected, and not yell. What is the reason for my guilt? Is an NC necessary? We had made the decision to separate weeks prior, and it was she who contacted me the following afternoon to tell she wasn't interested in getting divorced. She flinched first, therefore. Not sure if that is also relevant. She said she was sorry for what she had said to him, but she wouldn't cut off communication. She feels some regret, but not sure if it's enough to honor my limits. I won't argue if she declines. I'll give her my ring and tell her that I've had enough of defending her, hoping he would be worth it. I walked up to her and asked her to cut him off. She gave it some thought for approximately 30 minutes while we had a quiet conversation. She continued telling me that everything was fine. I informed her those are my limits, and I didn't care. She should never have uttered those things and should have known better since she had apologized. I assured her that if she stopped talking to him, she could make things right and we could move on. I implored her to stop making me feel bad because I was the one who suffered from reading such things. She kept making me feel bad. I shouldn't have to endure guilt trips. I assured her that he would comprehend her actions if they were such close friends. After a while, she said she was unable to. I responded, I hope he is worth it, as I got up and dropped my ring upon the bed. After leaving, I'm looking for something to take my mind off things. The next step is to call some attorneys and report to work tomorrow. In the event that she tries to sort this out, I now have some plans. Now that my first ultimatum was refused, I've made more. I'll see if I can put together some plans for dividing our possessions and helping her find employment, and I'll forward them to her tomorrow. We had a fruitful conversation as we worked through the problems that had caused her to wander, and I could tell she wanted to talk about it but perhaps felt stuck. She is really stubborn, and I think this was a test of my limits. I am now quite angry with her once more for doing this and keeping it from me. I want to accept no reconciliation, only agree to be courteous to our kids, because she picked him. I hope to never experience pain this severe again. I have to find someone who will value my contributions. Life is far too brief. One of my boys, who is 6 years old, has autism spectrum disorder. My life revolves around them. For them, I am resilient, and they never let me down. Knowing that I am unable to provide them with the life I so desperately want for them crushes my heart. I don't want to make up with her since I am so furious with her. I'll let her know that I'm going forward and not to act rashly, like cutting off communication with the other guy too soon. I'm sleeping better now, but for 2 months I was only getting a few hours sleep a night before this guy and what she said to him took over my thoughts. During this process, I dropped roughly 10 pounds. I'm eating more frequently now that I've taken this issue head on. When I found out what she had said to this guy, my bouts of depression and terror lasted no longer than 3 or 4 weeks. Fortunately, it was somewhat tolerable. She messaged me to say she would look into obtaining a job working evenings so we could share watching the boys and save money for her to buy a car. She is not changing her mind. I just got this from her. Sincerely, I'm astonished that you're done. She wrote back in 2 paragraphs, telling me that she is sorry for what she said, that he is gay, and that there is nothing between them, and how he even recommended that we get married therapy. How honorable. Do I believe he's gay? I'm positive he identifies as gay. Her excessive obsession with this guy is the issue. It's simply not correct. On our anniversary, I'm going across town to pick up our anniversary meal, and I'm texting this other guy, telling him by text that she is thinking about him and missing him. Simply put, the issue is that she is not acknowledging it to herself. I think she's falling for this guy. I'm going to tell her that even if we went to counseling, the marriage counselor would demand that she turn over all passwords and be completely transparent, in addition to imposing a similar no-contact rule on this guy. I am not taking marriage counseling until she breaks off contact because she promised to go, and she would now. It only irritates me more and more the longer she waffles. Tell me there's a kind person below all of that. To the best of my knowledge, the guy never really moved beyond flirting. My wife is obsessed with him, and that's the problem. I may ask him to tell me whatever he knows about it, or if he has heard anything about her or it from another man. She just told me she will just limit contact even though she gave it some thinking. Awe and shock are back in full force. I don't know if she sent him any photos. She hasn't, in my opinion, and I haven't heard them discuss it. It was never her intention to bring the boys to New York. I foolishly agreed to watch children while she went before knowing anything. But right now, that is not going to work. 180 is still going strong. She is obviously furious with me for stepping away. I've spent the last 2 nights sleeping in my children's bedrooms, and I haven't spoken to her about it other than through messages. I told her to email me confirmation that she sent it to him, but I didn't give her a contact letter to send. Instructed her to block and unfriend him as well. She is open to me and willing to try to resolve the issue, yet she refuses to accept the final rejection because she feels too embarrassed and ashamed. She does not think that their relationship is emotional. After she had me going around in circles, I ended our conversation, but within an hour, she had sent me 8 messages and texts. She was frantic to find out where I went when I returned home late. She is stubborn, even though we are just playing chicken. I'll pick up the divorce packet when I have Friday off from work. I told her I was working on this. We'll send her mom and Om via email. I sent her a message, and that their emotional affair is the reason I am divorcing her. Next up is her mother. OM, the B of the other man. F and mother have been told of her actions. I'll have to think outside the box because he has me blocked. I believe that now's exposure is more about shock and awe. She now has to consider what to say simultaneously to 4 different people. Regardless, her tale will sound absurd. It's absurd, given the circumstances, that she won't break up with a buddy or cause him distress by keeping it a secret. There's no way I could explain that. She wrote, "Wow, was just writing up a no-contact email for other man in response to my exposed letter. She was crying the whole way home and was prepared to help with everything you requested of me. She's probably attempting to contain the damage now. I stayed late at work yesterday, ignoring 3 texts she sent. She was rushing to find out my location. At work, I turned off my ringer, I told her. She was working out at the gym. She took our boys for walks to our subdivision's gym. I have no idea what she is thinking, that's all I know. She was exaggerating her rage with the exposure when she got home from work. Remaining composed, I went downstairs and turned on my phone, Android Facebook sniffer, to see whether anyone is logged into any Facebook accounts online. It was, indeed, a name I didn't know. She vanished from sight, made a new account with a different name, and only one friend. I took a screen grab of the message, which was delivered 4 hours ago. She wasn't requesting that of him, and she didn't want to stop talking to him. She expressed her sincere apologies for this drama. How about me? And that she intended to meet him in April nonetheless. I immediately lost it. I shouted to Jason upstairs to inform him that we can still communicate as I'm divorcing you. She followed me as I went upstairs to my wardrobe to start getting ready. She was paying attention to me now. What now? She cried out in desperation 4 times. How did I act? I spoke after giving her a stony expression. It is what you choose not to do. She lost it, hurled a washcloth at me, and shoved me. She should hit me, I said. I was at ease. She bolted, banging on doors. I reached for my shoes. I told her that she had made her choice and left. I want no contact with her since I am so hurt. I want to tell her that I'm already lost and that she should leave me alone. I am aware that she no longer loves me. I'm getting a divorce packet right now. I recently picked up the divorce papers. It was depressing to drag my kids through metal detectors and the public courthouse, bringing my 2 boys out for a model train and pizza-filled day. My STBX can have a taste of her future by spending some alone time at home. When I was playing with my boys, she did come into my room. She seemed to know she was wrong but couldn't bring herself to say anything as she stood there wanting to say something. I gave her a quick glance but remained silent. After a while, she left and did laundry and dishes. Although she remained silent this morning, she messaged her girlfriend to ask for advice and prayers. She thus uploaded a Facebook game gift to Om's wall 2 hours ago and grabbed screenshots of the block and unfriend request 4 hours ago. She considers me to be a moron. Now that she's agreed to complete openness and honesty, it's time to deceive her with falsehoods. I came across another communication she wrote to someone else expressing her extreme rage. If she doesn't even perceive the problem, can we really go on from this? I've declined to speak with her since she would only deny that anything is wrong and act as though I'm crazy for telling other people about what she did. Every chance she gets, she shifts the blame without actually confronting the problem. She simply can't have a meaningful conversation about it until I take the lead and stop her from transferring responsibility, which she detests. Regarding the search, those were carried out a long time ago, possibly even before she was aware that he was gay and before she asked me for an open marriage. In high school, this gay man did have a sexual relationship with a woman. Shortly later, she became pregnant and committed suicide. My wife also claimed that he is gay in a private communication with another girl, so who knows if what she told me about him was true. When a girl attempted to flirt with him online, he became quite uneasy. Though I'm not positive, I have a sneaking suspicion that my wife was a girl and attempted to hack him online. In any case, how could they possibly discuss that in a conversation? I'll have to take a seat back and investigate her underground account further. I will act upon receiving more damning evidence. Firstly, there should be no correspondence. She obligingly overlooked that section. I won't question her about other game accounts she may have because it could frighten her into going farther undercover. I'll question her about her primary gaming account, which has been disabled. She's unaware that I know it's disabled, and I'm not sure if she still plays Sims with him. The game she plays on Facebook with him. They send alerts on each other's walls and even shared a bed in the game. It's really adorable. As early as this afternoon, before I left for home, I know she was playing the game on her new underground account. Inform her that I need her whole attention to get things fixed. I see, total transparency, no lies. We get divorced if she doesn't do any of these. I am unable to follow her whereabouts on her phone. She might quit utilizing the computers if she believes I keylogged them. She might utilize the computers in the public library. I am unable to follow these, and I don't want to push her till I have another opportunity. We don't have a firm agreement as of yet, merely a vague comprehension that she won't. Now, I realize that what I said was impulsive, but many of you have helped me realize that my family comes first. Though I was prepared to break up with her, I decided to give it my all after taking some advice to heart. Something might shift in her after sending that letter. It might not. However, if she continues to do so even after receiving no correspondence, then I do have some hope remaining. I'm certain in myself that I tried everything to keep this from going south and that there will be no chance of reconciliation. I simply give my boys a hug, temporarily forgetting my hurt feelings. Am I being a coward for wanting to implement an NC? I attempted to yell at her in anger. It was unsuccessful. She reminds me of the insane man who, when I discovered her heart fluttering for him, screamed at her while a vein protruded from his neck. What changed, do you know? Nothing. There is a lot of fog. If we have an NC in place, I will be at ease to remove any possibility of reconciliation. Signed and received by Om. Less than that and I'll feel like I just went for the simple route. I stand over her and guide her pen, hoping the mist will lift as she writes. I can be sure if she breaks it and it doesn't hold, she is also capable of it. That the result will be suitable. I told her I was getting a divorce. Told her that for the sake of the boy, we must maintain civility. I was at ease. She said she wanted to contribute to our debt repayment. She made a contribution, and I confronted her about everything. I informed her that I couldn't continue to live with her falsehoods. I'm relieved as well. For the most part, I'm turning around and going on. Better is due to me, someone who is willing to defend me. I told her not to think of me. There is no hope of reconciliation, so forget about us. I hope she has an amazing time in New York, as I told her she was welcome to go. I'll take my kids to my sister's house at that period so we can spend time together. I feel confident and at ease with my choice at this moment. Instead of being misled and taken for granted, I would want to raise my boys in a home where their father is content. How might I demonstrate to children that this is appropriate as a father? I need friends in my life, she murmured as she sat down on the floor in tears. Her messaging him while she was at the gym was the final straw that set things off. She consented to write the no-contact letter before this. I asked her to compose the NC letter as soon as she got home. With a sigh, she cocked her head. Did she speak with Jason today? I asked. No, she replied. Then I exposed her deceit, and that she had earlier texted him. I then informed her about the fictitious account she created in order to communicate with Jason. She told me she wanted to do whatever it takes, but I told her about the message she sent him that she still wanted to meet him in April. She sent him a message in which she expressed her sincere regret for this, that if he decides he never wants to speak with him, she can respect that. All she can do is hope he does. Do you recall how she blocked him? Yes, in order to give the impression that she did, she blocked another guy with the same name. I informed her that I could not take any more lies. We are divorcing because she has betrayed all trust. She wept as she sat on the ground. After giving our past and her general self-centeredness a lot of thought, I've decided it's time for me to move on. I struggled with panic disorder and despair 2 years ago. I can tell you that those were the most difficult moments of my life, nearly as awful as this. During those times, she did nothing to help me. She remained oblivious. I approached her, hugged her, and said I needed her assistance. She gave me a triangular look in her eyes. Never in my life have I felt so alone. I need someone who will stand with me and be on my side. I don't think my wife could support me if I develop cancer or another illness, or if I'm in a circumstance where I need her assistance. Someone who will is needed. I also can't let my boys see us like this right now. Battling, lying, and tricking. We are throwing everything we have at this ridiculous battle. I have to move on. I should also mention that she is the one who twice in a month suggested an open marriage. When she brought up the subject of the open marriage for the second time, she was intoxicated and made some intriguing remarks that she now refuses to acknowledge. Things like parting ways to allow her to rediscover herself and go out and party. She informed me that our relationship had simply soured. She would take the child who is not autistic and wants to divide the guys up. The thing that most killed me was that. My heart hurt for her to say that. Man, who knows, maybe we can solve this if she does happen to wake up. However, she needs to accomplish some really amazing things. For my part, 180, she is a stay-at-home mother. She plans to start looking for work on Thursday. She is aware that due to my employment, she could have to work evenings elsewhere. Although she doesn't like it, whatever. It's worth it to use Om. I considered getting in touch with her pals once more, but I don't think it would be worthwhile. The best friend is already somewhat on my side, but WW is fleeing away from Om in search of help. Sincerely, I don't think the fog will clear till she travels there in April. That's pretty much where this all began, and hopefully where it ends. She's going to try to woo this guy, I swear. She looked up horoscopes, lost weight, and forgot about this one until today. Activities for a romantic evening. Until she makes this trip, I believe it will be useless for me to intentionally try to rouse her up. Nothing will stop her from achieving her goal. I'm going to force her in that direction while I turn around, take care of myself, and make sure my kids are safe. I haven't yet divided up the money. She accepted responsibility for half of our debt and offered to pay the other half. I don't mind if she withdraws cash. We both agreed that our children come first, and that any action that undercuts that by removing money without informing the other party will end any possibility of future civility between us. Her greatest fear at the moment is that I will keep her out of the lives of the children. That scares the hell out of her. I informed her last night that in order to pay for her vacation, she needed to start looking for an apartment and getting a job. She is aware that I am not making the payment. She should come see me, I urged her. See, as long as she is covered by my insurance. My insurance will not cover her for very long. This part she omitted to mention. She had previously proposed taking one child, so I asked her what she wanted to do regarding custody. She refuted having said that. I asked her whether she was comfortable with my having exclusive custody. She begged for dual custody 50/50. She slept very little the night before. She was crying, turning around, and maintaining her strength when she finally lay in bed. She doesn't think I'm weak. She has prior work experience. She spent a few years living alone, barely making ends meet, and she detested that lifestyle. She is now confronting it once more, and it is starting to sink in hard. I also asked her last night where she wanted to live, near to her homosexual best buddy, close to or thousands of miles away. With tears in her eyes, she declared unequivocally that she desired to live in close proximity to the boys. She also directly asked me twice if I was dating other women. Yes, I need to move on, and I will desire someone else in my life, I told her. I didn't even ask her if she was dating. I was indifferent. We always circle back around to this. Just cut out one unsuitable friend, in my opinion. He is a content gay man in a relationship, according to her. I express my hurt and believe their connection went too far. They were laughing about, according to her. I say she should stop since it hurt. She claims that she needs friends and that she cannot let go of anyone who has supported her. She asked me if I would allow her to delete her accounts from while I was at the gym. We chatted when I got home, and she broke down in tears, claiming she was unable to accomplish what she had promised. I questioned her about it. When I came out to her friend, she was chatting with her and trying to persuade my wife to act morally, but my wife wasn't buying it. She didn't want to be stubborn just because someone else told her to. She acknowledged that she didn't enjoy it when I gave her instructions because her close friend's spouse did it and her close buddy is a mindless automaton. I assured her that I would not be giving her instructions. I informed her that I would be doing something and that she might choose to stop me. I asked her whether she understood after saying that twice. She claimed to have done so. I reminded her of decisions she had made in the past that were made in defiance and advised her not to base her decision solely on being disobedient. That she acknowledged her disobedience could be a plus. I suggested that she visit IC in the hopes that she may get objectivity. She nodded without thinking. Then, in an attempt to lighten the situation and start a conversation, she added, I was thinking about our debt, adding that she should put more emphasis on how she would pay for her vacation and the down payment on an apartment instead of worrying about it at the moment. The ugly head of reality is back. Last night, I reaffirmed to her that this was an Aya with I explained to her that when he complimented her on her appearance, it made her want his attention even more. To feel liked and important, she looked to him for attention and affirmation. She acknowledged this and said that it was nice to hear. She told me that he told her he didn't feel that way about her. Her eyes told me that she felt exposed, and that she might have been tricked by him as a result. For the majority of this, she kept her eyes fixed on the ground. She said it once more, she didn't want to hurt anyone, including myself, I told her, knowing that I would comprehend. He will comprehend her motivations if they are genuine friends. Then she attempted to lighten the tone by saying something humorous. I was still snooping. She acknowledged the potential harm it may have caused and told her Facebook friends and a close friend that she had lied to me about speaking with him and creating the disguised account. When a close friend of hers questioned why she remained friends with another man, she said, because I want to. Oh, I'm dealing with a rebellious teenager who is 35 years old, he replied. She talked to him all day long as if nothing else was going on. So please help me. I'm pushing for a divorce right now with no I'm going to move on. Consult a lawyer right now. We decide to share custody. She takes the car, and I take the house. She has some questions regarding her employment leads. Her mother is furious with her daughter because I told her that I was divorcing her and disclosed some of the specifics. She even informed her daughter, you won't come across a better man than him, I'm simply over it, though. My scheme, get a divorce from her. I'm going to tell her it's too late if she asks for I'm going to move on. I'm not going to waste time or emotional energy on her anymore. It's not going to work. Both I and my boys deserve better. She came to me last night with the idea of living in my house while she helped me pay off debt. She believed she could stay here for a period of roughly 10 months while she assisted me in paying off debt. I took a seat this morning and divided costs, determined how much she would make at $8 per hour and what her costs would be when she moves out. Her monthly income from a full-time work at $8 per hour would fall short of her needs by $500. I informed her that before she helps me with my debt, she needs to figure out how she's going to support herself. She is beginning to feel the reality sink in. Florida does not assign blame. She is not requesting child support or alimony, and we have agreed to divide the assets and custody. Probably, we'll handle the divorce on our own and hire a lawyer solely to make sure our documentation is accurate. I believe we can maintain civility. I'm only trying to get her to realize the reality, even though she might not like it. That's how I gave her the explanation. I said, maybe you didn't fully understand the consequences of your decision, which is why I'm taking this action. You must accept the consequences of your decision. Although I don't detest you, having you live in my home prevents me from moving on with my life. Update, not much, if anything, has changed. She is still chatting to this guy and is still getting divorced. She has secured a part-time position, which she will begin in a few weeks. Sadly, she won't be able to move away with her employment alone. Next week, she has another interview for a different position. She remains inside the house. I sleep in the master bedroom, while she sleeps in my son's room. She still consents to me having shared custody of the car and the house. It feels like a permanent 180, but I'm still performing the 180. After a few months. As of right now, she is still residing there and saving money to leave. She is searching for a new job, but she already has one. Our prospective careers will not allow her to move out immediately. Her partner didn't even have enough money saved up to meet her when she traveled on her trip. Thus, it was all in vain. Who knows if she is telling the truth or not, but that is what she told me. I didn't give a damn, but I found it amusing given what she had just thrown away for this guy. She usually seems unhappy and gloomy, although I'm doing fantastic. In all honesty, I'm cheerful, upbeat, and loving spending time with my family and friends. Thus far as I know, I'm attempting to make things simple for them. They just notice that we sleep in different beds now, but our passion for her hasn't altered. It never existed in the first place. I've found that talking to a few women only as friends has really helped. I inform them that I'm not seeking a romantic relationship or involvement in any activities, so we simply go out and enjoy ourselves. Funny how they're all saying how crazy she is for letting me go. I feel as though I don't recognize her when I look at her right now. It's odd, it seems like she never developed into an adult, and I find it depressing. A tiny part of me wonders if I did not do a better job as a husband of supporting her development. Nevertheless, I acknowledge that not every issue is mine and that I can't solve them all. With hindsight, I'm sure I made the proper choice. I'm genuinely content and full of hope for the future. In my opinion, the original post has significantly improved with time. Yes, he wavered at first, but this is paving the road for a satisfying conclusion. Part 2 will be released early tomorrow. I hope these recent stories of relationships are teaching you guys something.